Hello students, how are you? Hope you are doing well. So I welcome you back to yet another session of your chapter Gravitation. So in this session we will discuss the second part of gravitation. I have already completed the first part about mass, weight, universal law of gravitation, okay, motion under gravity. In the second part we will generally deal with fluids. Fluids means liquid or gas. Generally we will discuss about liquids now, not gas. But before I discuss this, let us start with two terms which are important now, which are related to both solids as well as fluids. Okay, so the first term that I am going to discuss is called thrust. Okay, so here you see the definition of thrust. It is a force that acts normally over a surface. Normal force. Now normal force means that is the force that is acting at right angle. Suppose we consider an object and we apply a force on it like this, straight. So this is the surface over which the force is acting. So we can see here that the force is making an angle of 90 degree with the surface. So this force is nothing but thrust. Hope you have understood this. Whenever a force acts normally, suppose here this is the surface, over this surface I am applying a force like this. So this force which is applied at 90 degree is called thrust. Clear? Now since thrust is also a force, so we can say that its SI unit is Newton. Okay, since thrust is also a force, its SI unit will be same as the SI unit of force, which is Newton. Clear everyone? Okay. Now the next term that I am going to discuss is called pressure. Now if you see pressure, it measures the effect of force. Okay, it measures the effect, how much effect that force has produced. Now we know, generally we know that if I apply more force there will be more effect. If I apply more force on an object there will be more effect, but every time it is not correct. Pressure not only depends on some other physical quantity also, that is the effect of force depends on some other physical quantity also apart from force. Clear? Now see, suppose this pencil, you see this pencil. Now what I do is with from this part I press this pencil against my hand. I press this pencil against my hand. Okay, but this is not hurting me. This is not, I am applying a force, but this one is not hurting my hand. You see, it is not hurting my hand. Now what I do is I turn it round and then I apply a force. When I will apply a force, it will hurt me. Why this has happened? The question is, I am applying the same force from here as well as from here, but in this case it is not hurting me, but in this case it is hurting me. The force is same in both sides. From both sides I have applied the same force, but from one side it is not hurting and from the other side it is hurting my hand. So why this has happened? See here, if I see this side of the pencil, you see this side? Okay, you see this part. Here the area is more compared to the area of this lead here. The lead is very small. Here the lead is bigger. That means the cross sectional area is more. So as the area over which it is acting, the force is acting over this area on my hand. So the force that I have applied is acting here over a larger area, but in this case the force that is acting, it is acting over a smaller area. So when it is acting over a smaller area, the effect is more, it is hurting me. but when it is acting over a larger area, the effect is less. It is not hurting me. So we can say that effect of force not only depends on the magnitude of the force that is applied, but also the area over which the force acts. Clear? And pressure is that measure. It is the measure of the effect of force. Clear? Okay. So we can say that it measures the effect of force. Now we can define pressure from here. Therefore, or we can just write the definition. Pressure is the force acting, okay, actually this force is the thrust acting per unit area. It is the thrust that is acting per unit area. That means we can say pressure is equal to thrust, that is F here is thrust by area. I hope this thing is clear to you. Pressure measures the effect of force, and the effect of force depends on the magnitude of the force. Yes, obvious, it is quite obvious that when you apply more force, the effect will be more, but every time it is not correct. Sometimes it also depends on the area over which it acts. If the area is more, the effect is less. If the area is less, the effect is more. Okay, we will discuss some practical application also, some practical application related to this effect of force. Okay, so pressure is equal to force per unit area, or force acting or thrust that is acting per unit area. Okay, so here we can say the SI unit. So if you see, the SI unit of force is Newton, and what is the unit of area? The unit of area we know it is meter square. So the SI unit of force, pressure, is Newton per meter square or Pascal. It is called Newton per meter square or Pascal. Okay, clear everyone? Pressure and force are two different things. Remember, force is a physical quantity, which means it is the force. Force is the push or pull of an object. We know force is the push or pull of an object. We apply force to change the direction of motion of a body, to stop a moving body, to make a body go to motion from rest. Okay, but what is pressure? Pressure is the effect of force. It measures the effect of force, how much effect that force is producing. If a larger force might produce a smaller effect, but sometimes a smaller force might produce a large effect. So when this is possible, when we consider the area, if the area is very small, then the effect is more, because you see, the smaller the area, the pressure is more, and if the area is more, the pressure will be less. Okay. Okay, now we shall discuss some practical application related to pressure, or we can say effect of force. Clear? So I have written down 4 questions here. Just I will discuss the questions one by one, but you have to write it. Your job is to write it down in your copy. We will discuss it now. Okay, so first one, you see, why does a camel run on a desert easily? Why does a camel run on a desert easily? Now it is not possible for us to run very easily on the desert, because our feet will get stuck to the sand. But a camel runs very easily on the desert, but we can't run. Why? Because if you see the camel, the bottom area of its feet, the area of its feet which is in contact with the ground is very large. The area of the feet that is in contact with the ground is very large. Now since it is very large, we know pressure is force by area. Now since the area of contact between its feet and the ground is very large, the area is large, the pressure will be less. Now a camel applies, that means the camel applies a very less pressure on the sand. That means its feet does not go inside the sand. Since the pressure is very less, its feet does not go inside the sand and it can run very easily. But if you see in case of human, the area of his feet which is in contact, the area of his feet which is in contact with the ground is less compared to that of camel. So in this case what happens, the pressure will be more, and if the pressure is more, our feet will go inside the sand, our feet will stuck on the sand and we can't run very easily on the desert. Okay, so I hope the first question is clear to you. Now we'll move on to the next question. If you see the next question, it is written, why does a battle tank have caterpillar tracks? Now I hope everyone has seen battle tanks. If not in reality, you have seen it on the movies. Okay, so if you see a battle tank, it is like this, something like this. There are tires, and over this tire there is a chain like this. This chain is called a caterpillar track. Now why this caterpillar track is provided? Now we know that a tank will go to very bad condition, very bad road also, it has to travel through very bad road also. Okay, so if a tank is very heavy, now if it gets stuck on the soft roads, then it will be a big problem. If it gets stuck, if its tire gets stuck on the soft roads, then it cannot move. Okay, but the battle tanks are built for those conditions so that it can travel through any conditions, any condition, either soft, either hard road or soft road, any condition it has to move. So for this reason a caterpillar track is provided. Now if you see the wheels will not make much contact with the ground, but if a caterpillar track is provided over it, then what will happen? The area of contact between the caterpillar tracks and the ground will increase. The area will increase. Now if the area increases, the pressure decreases. Understood? If the area increases, the pressure decreases, and if the pressure decreases, it will not get stuck, it can move in any condition. Clear? I hope this explanation is clear to you. A wheel does not make much contact with the ground, but if a caterpillar track is provided, then what happens? The area of contact increases with the ground. Now the pressure gets uniformly distributed over the entire area, so the pressure exerted will definitely decrease, and if it decreases, then what will happen? It will not get stuck on soft roads, it can move easily. Clear? So this is the explanation to the second part. Now let us go to the third question. The third question is, why trucks and bus have wider tires? Same, because trucks and bus are much heavier than motor car. Okay, clear or not? So in this case what happens? If the tires are wide, the area of contact with the ground will be more. If the area of contact with the ground is more, the pressure will be less. The pressure is less, that means it can move easily. Clear? Its tire will not get stuck if the road is soft. Understood? Or if the road is muddy, then the tires will not get stuck. Okay, now let us see the fourth question. Why cutting tools have sharp edge? The cutting tools has sharp edge. Okay, just wait, I'm showing you the cutting tool. See here, a knife. So a knife is a cutting tool. Now if you see, this is the sharp edge of the knife and this one is the blunt edge. This part is blunt, this part is sharp. Now if you see the blunt part, the area is more. Now if you press it against an object, it will apply less pressure. Why it will apply less pressure? Because this area is more. If the area is more, the pressure is less. If the area is more, the pressure is less. So in this case the pressure will be less. But if I use this part of the knife and I apply force like this, so now what happens? This area is less. Since this area is less, the pressure will be more. Clear? So in this case, if a cutting tool should have sharp edges, because if the area is sharp, this area of contact, the area that will make contact with the surface, anything, fruit, vegetable, anything, the area that will make contact with the surface will be less, the pressure will be more. Now if the pressure is more, it will cut through the object easily. It can cut through the object very easily. Clear? Okay. So now this is an in-text question of page number 141 of your book. Question number 1. Why is it difficult to hold a school bag having a strap made of thin and strong string? Okay, suppose you consider a school bag, you take it on your back. Now if this strap, which is wound around your shoulder, now if that strap is very thin, what will happen? If it is very thin, the area of contact between the string and your shoulder will be very less. Now if the area is very less, the pressure will be more. We know this, I have already discussed about it. If the area is less, the pressure will be more. Now in this case, if the pressure is more, your shoulder will hurt. Okay, so the answer to this will be, if the strap is very thin, then the area of contact between the shoulder and the string will decrease. Now if it decreases, the pressure will definitely increase. Now if the pressure increases, it will hurt our shoulder. Clear? So this is the effect. These questions are related to the effect of force, or we can say the measure of the effect of force, called pressure. Okay. Okay, now we will discuss a numerical related to pressure. Okay, the numerical is example number 10.6 of your book. Clear? Now let us read out the question. A block of wood is kept on a tabletop. The mass of the wooden block is 5 kg and its dimension is 40 centimeter into 20 centimeter into 10 centimeter. Suppose this is the wooden block. Here this one is 40 centimeter length, its mass is 5 kg. Its mass is 5 kg. This side 40, length, breadth is 20 and the height is 10 centimeter. 40, 20 and 10. Understood? Now find the pressure exerted by the block on the tabletop with its side of dimension 20 centimeter into 10 centimeter. Now which side is 20? This breadth is 20, height is 10. So if the block is placed like this, how much pressure will be exerted? And next one is 40 centimeter into 20 centimeter. Here this one is 40, here it is 20. If the block is placed like this, then how much pressure is exerted? This is what you need to find here. So first of all, we know that pressure is what? Thrust per unit area. So what is the thrust? Here you see the mass is given. The mass of the block is 5 kg. Now if the mass of the block is 5 kg, its weight will be the thrust. As I've said, the thrust is the normal force. If this is the object, the weight is acting vertically downwards, so this is the normal force. The weight is the normal force, which is the thrust. So here the weight will be equal to mg, which is equal to 5 into 10 mg, 10 meter per second square acceleration due to gravity, which is 50 Newton. It is 50 Newton. Clear? Now we'll go to the number A. In number A, first we need to find out the area of contact. We know pressure depends on thrust as well as area of contact. Now it is how it is placed. how much which area is in contact with the surface? This one, 20 into 10. This one is 20 and the height is 10. So this part of the area, this part of the block is in contact with the surface. It is placed like this. Okay, so here the area will be equal to 20 centimeter into 10 centimeter. So this one we can change it to meter here only. We know 20 centimeter is 0.2 meter into this 10 centimeter will be 0.1 meter. So it is 0.02, it will be 0.02 meter square. Yes, it is 0.02 meter square. Clear? Now we know this is the thrust, this is the area, so we can easily find out the pressure. So what will be the pressure here? It will be pressure which is equal to weight, that is the thrust per unit area, which is equal to 50 divided by 0.02, which can also be written as this is 10 to the power minus 2. It will go up, so it is 50 by 2 into 10 to the power 2. Okay, see the calculation, it is 25, so the answer will be 2500 Newton per meter square. So the answer will be 2500 Newton per meter square. Okay, so now the second part, in the similar way you do the second part, that is number B of the question. It is up to you. I have given this to you to do. Don't see the book, but one thing here, if you see this area is less, this area is more, obviously here the pressure will be more, and in this case the pressure will be less. Clear? Okay, so with this I end today's session. In the next session I will continue with the chapter. So till then, thank you.